And we are live. Alvin, welcome to the live stream and happy December. And it's going to be a very happy December because we are coming out with Tridion Sites 10.1. It looks like we're going to be coming out with it in 2 weeks. We're just doing some more platform tests. It's a very exciting time, and there's a lot of things that have changed in the underlying platform. One thing that I want to make sure everybody realizes is that there's a modernization of the underlying platform in 10.1. I would say one of the most important ones is the .NET 8 support on the content manager, and I know that there's a lot of our customers who want to be able to move up to .NET 8 for compliance reasons, etc. And 10.1 is a long-term support release, which means that people are going to be able to stay on the platform until 2030. And I personally see 2030 as like so far down the road, but it is a long-term support release. And yesterday we had the launch webinar, and it seemed as if about half the people are planning to upgrade to 10.1 in the next 6 months. So I expect there to be a lot of organizations that move to that platform, and a lot of them also expressed interest in moving to the new UI, maybe moving over some of their custom extensions, etc., to the new UI. But the most important thing that I wanted to talk about today is the granular blueprinting, and I've got a couple of slides over here, and then I'm going to do a quick demo. So the first slide, I want to talk about, what is blueprinting today. So blueprinting today allows you to have content inheritance that works at a bit of a block level, and that block level could be content that's related to the overall organization. So it has to do with governance, workflow, central content. Then there might be another level, which is brand level. Then you've got like product level, followed by market, followed by the sort of regionalization or localization dimension, so that you would have that content available in multiple languages. But one thing that I wanted to show is the fact that, well, now with the granular blueprinting, you're going to be able to operate on a level that's smaller than those block components. So you'll be able to have field level inheritance on your content model, and this has a huge implications. And one of the most important implications is that you're going to be able to lock down certain fields so that your different markets aren't going to be able to change things that they shouldn't be allowed to change. At the same time, if you make changes to some of these individual fields at the parent level, it's going to cascade down into the child level. So this is a huge feature. And I imagine, after showing this feature to people in the webinar yesterday, there's going to be some people who all of a sudden they're going to be, lying back in bed, and their eyes are going to open. They're going to say, wait a second, this changes everything. It changes everything in terms of the way that I can efficiently model content. So let me go ahead, and I'm going to show a quick demonstration here. Let me bring back the video screen, and then let me share a tab over here. And we're going to be doing more and more demonstrations about some of the nice features in Tridion Sites 10.1 as the months come on. But right now, for example, here I'm in the French publication, and there's a product, and the basis of the product has been created at a higher level. However, I have a localized copy over here, so you can see how I'm inheriting from the main content, and this is where it's been localized. So now, if I go into this component over here, you'll be able to see that some of these fields are locked down, and of course we give people a little icon to indicate, hey, why is this thing locked, so your users won't be surprised. And you notice over here, this might be some of the general information, but oftentimes, and this is what I don't like it with when websites are just really cookie cutter websites. I much prefer websites to have some sort of like cultural connection with their audience. So instead of like this bland corporate banner, you can imagine that maybe for the French market, they want to do something that really connects at a cultural level to their audiences. So from here, you can see I was just able to sort of replace some of the imagery with market-specific imagery. Now, the way that the fields can be locked down to the parent not only applies to content fields, but then you might also have metadata fields. So, for example, you wouldn't want to have the audiences your local market to be able to change things like the SKUs of the product as well. There might be some centralized taxonomy that you don't want to be changed in the markets. However, the markets might be able to change. Hey, like this is a product that I want to promote in my spring campaign. So these are all things that can be done, and it's a nice blend between having a centralized governance model, but then also giving some localized control to the local marketer. So let me finish this thing up, and I'm going to go back to the Ninja board and stop sharing. So that was just a very quick demonstration. I showed that I showed the granular blueprinting as it's applied to a content component. It also applies to page regions. So let's say you've got a hero region or something that you want to have changed up at the top level. You can lock that hero region down, and it's just a parent publication that's going to be making those changes. So for me, I think that this granular blueprinting is a fascinating feature. Alvin, what are your thoughts on granular blueprinting?
I'm just going back to your first point about laying in bed thinking about blueprinting. I'm like, hey, that's me. I've had those moments.
Exactly.
Like,
sometimes
how are we
your eyes
solve
will
this?
open up and you can be like, oh, that's how I'm going to solve this issue. And it really, if I think about Tridion, compared to other content management systems, the inheritance and the blueprinting is like such a key differentiator. And I know that we've sort of taken the stance of, hey, we're really good at the content management piece of the content, where you could really have the best content model possible. And then, for things like content distribution or like, marketing automation emails and all those other things that are around content management, we let other systems handle that part. But we're just focused on the content piece. And that's why I think that this feature really, lends itself really well to the overall heritage of the Tridion product, and we're making the thing that we're really good at even better. And so yeah. I appreciate that.
Yeah, the three things are from me is exactly what you're saying. The balancing the global central control, local flexibility. We'll see it across lots of customers where you can't just have one way to handle content. Depending on the market or the kind of content, certain things need to be localized and some things need to be the same across. And that connects to the integrations. So every system has some way to identify things. Mm-hmm. And across your blueprint, you'll have IDs or fields that need to be the same. And historically, like I think you mentioned it before, you'd have to break up components into separate pieces, and a lot of work to all represent one thing. And that brings us back to the idea of like semantics. Mm-hmm. The idea that this article component, this product component is one self-contained thing that still has blueprinting localization in it, but also connections to other systems, other data. And I think if it's a point you haven't made yet, it kind of connects into even large language models and the idea of having all your content, all related content, all the metadata, all contained in this one thing that has some meaning to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's like a key consideration for content these days is how is the content going to be interpreted, repurposed in different types of AI systems. And we've always been a proponent of the drive principles. Don't repeat yourself. So that is to say that don't have a lot of components that are the same as one another. Have one component and then have it shared out in different places. But I think the granular blueprinting really takes it a step further, because then it'll solve the problem of having components that are almost the same. So instead of having just one singular component, today, sometimes people have several components which are very close to one another. So this will help reduce that. And it's very funny when I've got a joke which is about the whole like content management system and how much duplication happens in some of the other platforms where you don't have efficient models. And that's where I talk to a prospect and I ask them, well, do you have a content management system or do you have a content dumpster system? And if you've got a content dumpster system with the advent of AI, that dumpster is going to get lit on fire and then pushed down a hill to the nearest oil refinery. So, so that's and one of the things I love about these live streams is that we can have the informal jokes about content management, etc. But the world is rife with these examples of how content is being misinterpreted by different AI systems. And I think that not with the reduction of the duplication of content, and then also, with the ability to nicely categorize your content and control your content and, have a model where you're just not letting ChatGPT go wild on your content, but instead you're controlling how it's getting used and how it's getting published and how it's getting applied is going to be something that's going to be more and more important, I think, in the next coming years. I know that a lot of our customers they've got these AI teams and they're sort of struggling with making something reliable enough, something that's flashy to of course show the executives, but something that's also reliable enough so it doesn't get anybody in trouble.
Yes, yeah, that kind of trustable chat, and it's big now. When I go to conferences, like a third of the sessions are about large language models and AI, and in some ways it's a disruption, of course, and things are changing, and maybe there's some concern about it, but there's so much attention on your content. Mm-hmm. Your content is an asset, and it can be a liability, and so that means there's projects, there's new roles, there's teams, a lot of focus on it, and it's nice seeing both, the AI features in products like ours, mm-hmm. but also things to support this good quality of content. I think content quality or sanity, I was gonna say sanity, sanitization, right?
Yeah.
Of having good, clean content, and it's never 100%. It's a process. So it's nice to be able to have systems and tools to go in, find duplicates, reduce, kind of consolidate your model, getting to better content, and that doesn't stop.
Yeah, and you know what? In terms of content sanitization, we might as well have another call out to our friends over at DC Labs and their Harmonizer tool. So this is a tool that you can use in conjunction with Tridion. What's nice is that it can consume XML files. So all you need to do is go to the content porter, export your content as XML, load it up into Harmonizer, and then it will identify, okay, what are the exact matches? So what should you be using blueprinting for? And then what are the near matches? What could you possibly use granular blueprinting for? So it's funny because they say that a lot of their customers, they come and they think, oh, well, I'm just going to use Harmonizer for 1 month and then the project will be done. And usually as people start to see the reports on their content, they come to realize, hey, there really is a whole lot of duplicated content, a lot of streamlining that I need to do. And I'm really happy that we've got this partnership with DC Labs and to use their Harmonizer tool. It's a paid service, but it's very reasonably priced. If you're interested in that, be sure to reach out to your account rep, and then we'll be happy to set up a demo. I think we could even set up like a free trial for people just to explore and see what things will look like for their content. I was very impressed with rws.com because we exported all of the content from our own internal website, and about 50% of the body of the content was unique. There was about 25% was duplicate, and then another 25% was near duplicates. So definitely, even for us at rws.com, there's some optimization that we could start to do.
Yeah, and some of them are intentional. What's nice about Harmonizer is it finds it at the maybe the segment or paragraph sentence level. So you can, like, it's not just, is this component similar to another, which I think for us, you kind of figure out some kind of algorithm to do that. This actually goes down to, is this paragraph or this section, this node in one piece of content the same as something else or near the same. It reminds me of a lot, like very similar to translation memory in a way.
Yeah.
Like, is this something we've seen before? Even down to like how close of a match it is, like, complete match versus, some percentage of matching. That's really impressive. And I've seen customers where the instructions are, go make a content and base the title on the content in there. And it's very easy just following the instructions to start duplicating something that you've seen before, but you have thousands, tens of thousands of pieces of content. And it's really hard to go, have I, or is this already in there without the help of some other tool? Because, we've had customers, 10, 20, getting on 20 years, right? Like that, and hundreds of people working on content. Like, you won't know, oh, have I seen this before? Oh yeah, like 5 years ago, I entered this exact same content. Like, maybe you'll know that, but it's great to have a tool like Harmonizer to help with that.
Yeah. I think it's going to be. I think Harmonizer is a really cool sort of partner tool that we have at our disposal. Another thing that after the webinar yesterday, I got a couple calls from people who heard me put out the teaser for Figma integration, and so that is something that we're working on, and it'll be and people should look forward to that in 2025. I think that is going to be probably one of our more popular integrations right now. A lot of companies have invested the time to move their designs, etc., into Figma, and to have that integrated with the content management system will be super powerful.
It was really nice. It was really nice to bring that full circle, where it's not just content, but it's content and the interaction and the designs. And I've seen that, with our own teams, product management, development, UX, and documentation work closely together on, like, what should these labels be? What's the current naming convention? And have it consistent across, everything from community to products to marketing to the UI.
Right.
And it's definitely cross-functional, and everybody's in there trying to make that a better experience, even down to the tools like Figma. Like, this is your content. This is where things appear.
And I guess the final thing that I think is going to start to happen as we get into 2025 is people are going to start to move over to Tridion Enterprise for their translation management system. And I know that there's some reasons why people are on TMS and Mantra and even World Server, and especially World Server. I think there's some interesting requirements and that people have around how World Server works with some integrated tools that is sort of keeping them onto World Server. But we're building out a whole lot of extra new features in Tridion Enterprise, and this new translator in context view, I think, is a pretty compelling reason for people to start to move over to Tridion Enterprise. So we hope that people do, and we're there to assist. And in general, I think with the translator in context view, etc., I think that's something that should be done in conjunction with our professional services to make sure that the workflow and the reviews and all of that works smoothly, because there are some different ways that can be configured, and just having a helping hand from professional services, I think, could alleviate some of the frustration that would occur if people were to try it out alone.
Yeah. Then the nice thing is, from the integration perspective, from the Tridion sites and even Tridion docs perspective, Tridion Enterprise isn't different from our other TMSs, right? So the configuration, at least on the CMS side, is pretty straightforward, and so that means you get to focus on what are your use cases and requirements for your workflows and setup on the TMS side on Tridion Enterprise.
It
was awesome.
It is awesome. What I really like about Tridion Enterprise is that it's got a nice interface for internal reviewers to actually work inside a TMS. something which I think was a little more challenging with some of the other platforms that we had. They were a lot less user friendly, but a lot of thought's gone into Tridos Enterprise, so definitely worthwhile. I think exploring to see if you can move to Tridos Enterprise. But anyway, so this was the live stream. We're at the 20-minute mark. I guess we're going to be the next live stream will be in the new year, and 10.1 will be out, and we'll be focused on the next version of Tridion after that.
Great.
All right, Alvin.
Okay. Thanks, Craig.
Okay. Thanks. We'll catch everyone in 2025. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.